Today I'm going to talk to you about a certain type of game. Now usually I talk your ear off about how Banjo-Kazooie is the greatest platformer ever, and why I think it's literally flawless until my fingers fell off, I started foaming at the mouth, and then you had to send me the way of Old Yeller. So instead of being the dead horse to the point of it passing off as something Smuckers would package and sell, I'm going to tell you about a game that nobody talks about or even acknowledge the fact it even existed. That game is... Metroid 2 was released for the Game Boy in 1991 and is the sequel to the critically acclaimed Metroid, which was released for the NES in 1986. When Metroid 2 was released, it was welcomed with apathetic arms, as most people either thought it was a downgrade from the previous title, or that it was about as interesting and engaging as a block of tofu.
Candy cane grounds!
Okay, hurry up.
Taylor Zimmerman, 2 for you. Glen Coco, 4 for you, Glen Coco. You go, Glen Coco. And Catty Heron. Do we have a Catty Heron here?
It's Katie.
Oh, Katie, here you go. 1 for you. And none for Gretchen Wieners. Bye.
I can definitely see where people are coming from about the problems with the actual game. I just personally feel like no one gives this game the credit for all the new stuff it introduced to the Metroid series. Being a sequel, you think it would build upon what the previous game set up, but it actually guts a majority of the features from the first game. No color, no real music, and no idea where the hell you're supposed to go, this game seems incredibly bare bones compared to the first one. A big problem with this game is the music, or rather the random bleeps and bloops that are trying to pass off as music. Another is controlling Samus in this game is like trying to drive an 18-wheeler down a mountain road while it's snowing and a badger is mauling your face. If I had a nickel for every time I fell down a pit because of the jump controls, I would have enough to fill a pillowcase so I could beat the game cartridge till it broke. But then again, the controls for the original game weren't that much better. It's just that the screen is zoomed in to the point that it's difficult to see enemies coming or tell where you're going. But this, believe it or not, is one of the best features of the game, since it gives an intense, claustrophobic feeling. This game is genuinely scary at times, which is pretty impressive for an 8-bit game. This feeling of claustrophobia is greatly exaggerated when you come face to face with the game's main enemies, the Metroids. Bum bum bum! The main and only goal of the game is to kill all the Metroids located on planet SR-388. The fights with the Metroids are generally well done, very challenging, and are definitely the highlight of this game. There are 48 Metroids in the entire game. Most are at least at stage 2 of the Metroid evolution cycle. To put this in perspective, the final boss of Metroid Fusion was an Omega Metroid. And in this game, you have to fight more than 8 of them. This is actually the first time we get to see the Metroid life cycle, and is the only game in the entire series where they are important to the plot, which is funny given the series is named after them. Also, this is the first game in the series where the famous Varia suit looked like the Varia suit. This is due to the lack of color on the original Game Boy, since the first game distinguished between the Power Suit and the Varia suit solely by color and not by massive shoulder pads. This design change was later used in every appearance of the various suit after this, and became the iconic look for Samus Aran. Also, things like the spider ball, crouching while shooting, crouching in general, space jump, spring ball, and being able to save your progress were introduced in this game. This game is also the only one in the entire series that does not have a boss battle with Ridley or an escape sequence at the end. This game also set up the Infant Metroid plotline, which is continued on in just about every game after this. And leads to the greatest moment in video game history. I can see why people ignore this game. It's not the best, and the sequel, Super Metroid, makes this game look a lot worse in retrospective. With a series of such great games like this really get overshadowed, when it should actually be given praise for what it did. I mean, come on, this is a game where to kill the final boss, you climb into its mouth, go into its stomach, and bomb the crap out of it until it dies. If that doesn't get your respect, then I don't know what will. And that's why my life is a mess. Instead of studying or doing schoolwork or getting a job, I spend my free time looking up stuff like this.